All right, day 324, and it is 5:19 a.m. and we're about to get started with some kettlebell training. Oh boy. Let's see. Are we going? On watching. The stream started. All right. So, let's see. Hello? Oh, we can hear me just fine. That's amazing. Hey there. Good morning, friends. It is 5:19 a.m. and we're about to get started with morning routine kettlebell. My name is Toby. I am 40 years old and I train to live an active, self-sufficient and adventurous life. I do that because I want to be able to keep up with all of the demands life is putting on me, not only today but also in the future. So I have kids, I want to see it grow up and I want to spend time with them. I have a career that keeps me busy. There are things that I want to do, but most importantly, I just want to feel competent and capable throughout my life. And to that reason, I mind my sleep. I try to get between 7 and 9 hours of sleep every day. Today was a good night, 7.5 hours. And I mind my nutrition. I try to eat within my energy balance, even though the last 3 days have been a slight challenge in that respect. But we'll get back into it for sure. And I would do strength training, conditioning training, and mobility training. And today is Monday, so we're going to do some kettlebell full body strength training. And I've already started the timer by accident. Like I always say, this is about the way I feel, not about the way I look. I think fitness and health is incredibly personal, so whatever goal you are pursuing is probably very personal to you, just like mine are very personal to me. For me, I just want to be functionally capable to do most of the things that I want to do in life, whether that's play on the floor or carry an airport carry a suitcase across an airport. We're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on, because it's the person we are today who's going to get us to where we want to be tomorrow. And a bit of kindness to ourselves today goes a long way. And the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work. So we're going to get started. And if you have any questions for me about health, fitness, my journey, kettlebells, anything that we're going to do today, you go ahead and ask me in the chat and we can have a conversation. Or if you're watching, you can just go ahead and say hi and let me know that you are watching. Either or is completely fine. Not at all a problem for me to walk over to the computer and read what you have to say. It is Monday morning where I am at. By the way, Strong Panda Gaming, you speak too slow, but good. Thank you very much for dropping by and for saying hi. I appreciate that. I hope you are well where you are in the world. I don't think there's a lot I can do about the way I speak. I could start to speak faster and shout, but it is 5:22 a.m. and I am just waking up after all. So I hope that's all right for you. And like I said, I hope you're having a good day where you are in the world. So you're just spending a couple of minutes doing some movements that will hopefully allow us to begin with the kettlebell in a good and positive way. to do a nice and deep sit. Well, that's never happened before. Oh, there we go. So, Monday morning, talking about health and fitness for the week. Last week, we did a challenge where we tried to add a glass of water to our routine every day. Same quantity of water at the same time, to learn two things. First, to learn how hard it would be to actually add that glass of water to our routine. And second thing, to understand which structures of our lives, which demands, responsibilities, commitments, the setup made it possible or impossible to actually establish a small new routine or new habit. So for me, I try to add a glass of water right after the training, which generally is easy enough to do because I'm training here in the kitchen. So even if I forget to set it up in the morning, I can just walk into the kitchen and have a glass of water if I remember. But while I was traveling, for example, in the hotel, I had to make different arrangements right after the workout. First day I even forgot to bring the water with me to the training. So it goes to show, how the environment actually can make sticking to our commitments easier or harder. And it's important to remember and recognize that. Because this week, we're going to use those lessons and insights to try to add a second behavior to the mix. And the second one is going to be even a bit more demanding in terms of time and commitments from ourselves, because we're going to try to find 10 minutes in the day to go for a little walk. And I'm going to come over and read your comments in a moment before we start kettlebelling. So, what that means is that somewhere during the day, could be on the commute, it could be in the middle of the day, during break, it could be at the end of the day, on your way home, it could be at the end of the day, before sleep. But whatever it is, we're going to try to find time for 10-minute walks. You should go enjoy a 10-pound busy. Henrik Fonseca, wow, Septa, weight shift. Sandra, Zima, yes. Thank you all for dropping by and saying hi, Septa, welcome back. Thanks for dropping by again. I hope you're doing well. Today is not a mobility day, so the exercise fits into a different day, probably tomorrow again, because it is a nice exercise, and I actually intend on keeping it in my routine for sure. We're they're still warming up. They're warming up in a good way. It's nice of all of you to drop by and say hi. All right, so just relaxing the arms, familiarizing the body with the kettlebell and the weight moves. We have quite a bit of work to do. Also, with the 8. So, here we go. So how was your weekend? If you are watching, we had a good end of last week and beginning of this week. I know I did. We ended last week in a theater watching a musical, which was incredible fun. And I guess one of the insights about traveling and health and fitness, like I said last week also, business travel is also a social thing with colleagues and customers. So you have quite a bit of evening time you spend with each other. And what we shouldn't forget is that one, that is important. 2, that eats into sleep if you have the habit of waking up early to work out, and 3 nights in a row of being in a different place on a different nutrition schedule, because obviously you can be picky, but you have to make some choices. Switching to one hand, you have to make choices. You begin to notice I'm very happy that I got 4 hours of sleep last night the way I did, because puts me back on track where I want to be in my sleep schedule. So how do I feel in terms of the warm-up? Feeling good. We're there. I think we're going to keep going. In a moment, we're going to one-handed swings, and then some snatches. All right. Let's do this. And we're going to look at the kettlebell snatch. Wow. There we are. And I hope that that is going to pay off. That was 10 on the left. And the next minute we're going to do 10 on the right. So back to taking that 10-minute walk and adding that to the routine. If you did the challenge with the glass of water, if you did the challenge with the glass of water, you'll know a couple of things about your routine and about how easy or hard it is to set a goal for yourself every day and to then stick to it every day. I think it's important to take that lesson into consideration when we try to find time, 5 times with a 12, by the way. To find time to actually go for a 10-minute walk in your daily routine, it's going to be a challenge. Steve Jr., thanks for dropping by. And I always give people who drop by in the chat a shout out, regardless of whether they sub or not. I appreciate you dropping by and saying hi, and I hope you're well where you are in the world. And I hope you're having a good day. For me, it's 5:37 a.m. We're getting started on the day with a kettlebell. Last set. And then we're going to go into swings with the heavier kettlebell alternated with rows. So legs and upper body back before we do more presses and overhead work. So fitting that 10-minute walk into your daily routine is going to be a bit more challenging than a glass of water, because grabbing a glass of water probably takes 1 minute, but building a routine where you go for a 10-minute walk two-handed swing with a 24 kilo. So how do we do that? How do we take a process that takes 1 minute to a process that takes at least 12 to 13 minutes, including both taking a process that takes both 15 minutes, including taking off, putting on your shoes, jacket, taking off your shoes and jacket as you go into or out of the house, right? Well, first reason, obviously, is why what we think this is important. So that's the first question. Why would a 10-minute walk be a part of your overall health and fitness routine? Because I know why I want to stay fit and healthy for life. I know why the cab driver who brought me to the airport on Saturday wants to stay fit and healthy for life, for his grandkids, to be able to keep up with them, to be able to go out on adventures, live an active, self-sufficient life. So, but why do you want to have a new routine? What's the reason? Not just now short term. Oh, Christmas is coming. We're going to eat a lot more food during the holidays. Better go out and get healthy. The real reason, the bigger reason, the one that even when you don't feel like it, might get you out of bed at 5 in the morning. The one that says, you know, whatever else, I am going to do this today because it's important to me, it matters to me. So that's one. Then, you know, how easy or hard is it for you to go out for a walk? Say, for example, there's a nice area to walk in. Dotty hotty. I would throw the kettlebell at you to play catch, but I can't throw it that far. But thanks for dropping by and saying hi. I appreciate that. And I hope you're doing well where you are in the world. Right? So, is it simply a matter of simply a matter of putting your shoes on and going? Or is there more to it than that? Can you do it first thing in the morning when you wake up? Or is it too dark and not safe? Is it easier for you to leave your house 10 minutes before your commute? Final set, swings and rows. So, is that how you might be able to fit it in? Right? Instead of walking straight to the train station or to your car, you go around the block before doing so. Maybe. Is that possible? Do you have responsibility at home in the morning that prevent you from immediately leaving earlier? And if so, how can you go about addressing those to create some time and space for yourself? Because whether you go for a 10-minute walk around the block, push presses, first a dead clean and then a clean press, then take a minute break. Whether you take 10 minutes before your commute, go for a walk, or whether you arrive 10 minutes early, park 10 minutes walking away from the front door of your office and work there, you're still going to have to buy that 10 minutes somewhere in your morning routine, for example. Or you're going to plan it or schedule it during your work break, which is also fine, worth considering. So how will that work then? Are you going to take 10 minutes less to eat? Is it easy or hard to get in and out of the building that you work in? The whole process. This 10-minute walk is probably a 15 or 20-minute commitment, right? And again, this comes down to, first of all, the reason people have we have to want to be and live a healthy life, right? Sorry, having some issues with my microphone this morning. So the reasons we have to want to live a healthy life but also our ability to control the structure that demands responsibilities, commitments of our lives. Thanks for dropping by, Mike. I hope you're doing well where you are. Not sure entirely what that means, but I'll have to look that up. Or maybe you have a tutorial or something that I can take a look at that explains to me what that means, so that I can look at how to improve my technique. But it's up to you to let me know and help me out here. And I hope you're well where you are in the world. For everyone else who's watching, it's 5:50 a.m., so we're in the final 10 minutes of my workout. My name's Toby. I'm 40 years old. I train to live an active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life. Because I would like to keep up with life now in my 40s and 50s, but remain self-sufficient and active well to my 80s, 90s, 100s. Who knows how old we'll get with medical and technological advantages at this point. And I'd like to be fit and capable at any age, so I work on my sleep, 7 to 9 hours, work on my nutrition, try to trade within my energy balance, try to eat 120, 150 grams of protein a day, strength training, conditioning training, and mobility. So if that's something that you're interested in, or if you're interested in kettlebell training in general, then this might be something for you. So if you're interested, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and we can be on this journey together, on a year-round journey to health and fitness. And if you wonder how consistent I've been, you can go onto my channel and take a look at what I've done over the last year and a half in terms of my health and fitness. And I've been at this since I was 16 with ups and downs, and I've managed to stay serious about it. For the last 7 years, or 8 years actually. I think that's quite an accomplishment in and of itself. So I talk about being consistent, making small changes, and showing up every day and doing some work. Doesn't really matter what work, but that is completely up to you. And let me give you an illustration. I was traveling for business the other day. Maybe you'll want to subscribe after hearing this story. And I had a cab driver who was driving me to the airport. And this was a very pleasant gentleman. And we were talking, and I mentioned, because we were in London, that I'd been to Hyde Park, and I'd seen so many people running. And he said, yeah, you know, now I also hear, he said, somebody told me that you can get the same health benefits from walking as you can get from running. And I said, well, that's interesting, right? If you're interested. what kind of who said that? And he said, oh, I was listening to this guy online. I said, well, so we started having a conversation about the benefits of movement and how in a healthy lifestyle, different types of cardio actually can accomplish different things, right? So we're just having this conversation, and he says, well, yeah, you know, because I mentioned like you can run consistently at the same pace, or you can do intervals. And he says, yeah, like HIIT, that's what I do at home. I'm like, oh, so you're not just interested in, you're actually working out. He's like, yeah, I have grandkids, and I want to be able to play with them. And I realized, this is a cab driver talking, so I wasn't able to. So I decided to start getting into shape. I said, okay, so how did you learn? Where did you go? He said, oh, I went to YouTube online, and I started doing these, listening to people and following along. I said, oh, that's really interesting, because I have a channel about health and fitness as well, and I'm saying basically the same things that you are telling me now about age and about why staying well and healthy is important. We had a good laugh and a good conversation about the challenges he faced, because I'm 40, he's 66, and he shows up and does the work regularly. So, you know, here's the thing. He told me, this is not me saying this is him telling me his challenges and his experiences, yeah. The biggest challenge for him isn't showing up and doing the workouts, right? Isn't showing up during the workouts. It's losing weight and keeping the weight off. And I said, yeah, that's fascinating insight, and it's also very true and relatable, you know, because that has very little to do with exercise, right? Exercising is a part of that healthy lifestyle that allows you to maintain weight, maybe even lose weight by increasing your energy expenditure, building more lean mass. Sure, but in the end, movement, exercise, training is about building muscle, challenging your cardiorespiratory system and your body to move well and properly, whereas weight management comes down to nutrition and what we eat more. And I think the recent rise of Ozempic, for example, shows that more than anything, struggling with appetite signals or bodily chemistry. I think realizing that, and realizing that he, even more than I at 66, 26 years my senior, so, you know, if your metabolism starts to slow, things start to get harder building muscle mass, keeping weight off at 40. It's much harder for him. He sits in the cab. I sit at a desk, right? In a lifestyle like that, like actually creating ways to help manage weight become more and more important. And by weight, by the way, I think what we're mostly talking about is managing fat mass compared to lean mass. There's generally a goal of mine to lean out slightly to build more muscle in favor of fat mass, but not to lean out entirely to lose a whole bunch of weight. But I do understand that for me, that is a balance that keeps me on the healthier side of what life has to offer. But like I said at the beginning, health and fitness are very personal. You can't tell by looking at someone how healthy and fit they are. They need to learn and define that for themselves. We've come to the end of this training, Monday morning, full body strength with kettlebells. Use the 24, 20, the 16, 12, and the 8. I'm going to wrap up and I'm going to head out. Thanks for dropping by, participating in the chat, everyone. I will give you another shout out, Steve Jr., because you asked for it. Like I always say, my name's Toby. I'm 40 years old. I'm trying to live an active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life. Not only now, but well into the future. Just try to stay free of disease and discomfort. Do that by minding my sleep. Try to get between 7 and 9 hours every day. I focus on my nutrition. Try to stay within my energy balance and eat 120 to 150 grams of protein, strength training, conditioning training, mobility. Try to live a stress-free, happy life, surrounded by people I love and care about, doing something that I enjoy every day for most of the day. But it's easy to forget the other 23 hours in the day that are not a stream and a workout. If you're interested in what I talk about, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. It would be nice to hit 1,000 subscribers this year, so that would be cool. But more than that, we could continue this conversation about health and fitness in our late 30s, early 40s, early 50s. Here's a glass of water that I'm adding every day to the end of my training. And like I said, how are we going to figure out when and how we're going to go for a 10-minute walk this week? That is the second challenge of trying to understand what it's going to take to change habits and behaviors for a healthier 2025. So if that's something you're interested in, try figuring out for yourself when a 10-minute walk might fit your schedule. Maybe opposed to a glass of water, a 10-minute walk is actually easier to take at the end of the working day on your commute home, because there might be some variations on what time you're required to be home versus everything that needs to happen before you get out of the house in the morning. Could be a middle of the day thing. You decide and let me know another day under another video. Remember, we're good just the way we are, friends. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. And it's the person we are today who's going to get us to where we want to be tomorrow. So remember that. And the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work. So I'm going to turn off the stream. Thanks for subscribing to my channel, for dropping by, saying hi. And I will see you tomorrow, friends. Take care.